Alright, how's it going everybody? A couple weeks ago, the new dungeon VESPER'S Host was released, and everyone was saying that it was the hardest dungeon of all time, and that its solo flawless was also the hardest solo flawless of all time. So naturally, I got scared, and it took a few days to attempt it. When I started the attempts, though, I found it wasn't that bad. At least 90% of the dungeon wasn't. As a matter of fact, I would go as far as to say that most of the dungeon is like the same difficulty as like Warlord's Ruin or Duality. But honestly, I would lean more towards Duality because Raneiks doesn't have a ton of health and the time in between DPS phases isn't too long. I've talked enough about it so far, let's just get to the run. But wait, hold on! We're almost at 14,500 subscribers, so if you enjoy the video and want to see more like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Okay, now actually, let's get to the run. The start of the run wasn't anything too eventful, other than the opening being sort of boring and repetitive on repeat playthroughs. I made it past all the trip mines without blowing up, and then I made it to first encounter. I placed my rally banner in a good spot and started. My build was a prismatic titan with glacial quake, consecration, knockout, and syntheseps. The entire encounter was basically me just abusing consecration, if I'm being honest. I started with lungs, since I find that one the hardest. And also, like, the longest. I don't know why it's the longest. And also, like, how come in that one random spot, you get up to the top and then you turn around and your FPS just, like, dies? It goes down to like from like 144 down to 70. I don't know what's going on with that. But I started with lungs because if I messed up and I had to restart, it wouldn't be that bad since it was only the first one. I used my super on the Brig since I could get it back pretty fast with momentum transfer. This encounter starts the wrath of issue 1 with the solo flawless, my ADHD. I need to be super focused in this dungeon because any outside stimulation makes me completely lose focus and fuck up. The main problem with this encounter is that I'd forget to dunk the buff, and then by the time I kill the Brig, it'd be too late, and I would die when the timer ran out. That's the biggest problem with this encounter, is me. I'm the biggest problem with this encounter. After lungs, I would get brain because I thought that was the second hardest, and, you know. Then after that, I'd, well, obviously, get heart, since that one's the easiest. The giant Brig died easily to Glacial Quake because Glacial Quake is a balanced super and is on par with all other roaming supers. If you're on Daybreak or Spectral Blades, you can easily do what I do here because they are just as good as Glacial Quake, and Glacial Quake is not an out-of-band super. After that, we move on to the puzzle, and this wasn't hard. There was one time I blew myself up here though. Other than that, though, this part's easy. Real easy. Kinda like the rest of the dungeon. Next up, we have Raneiks. And Raneiks is probably the easiest encounter in the entire dungeon. The most dangerous parts are the exploding shanks, the exploding balls, and getting distracted. Like that one time I shot the wrong panel. I don't have anything to like transition into this, but I just really want to put this clip in here.
You got good luck this time.
You got that burger luck.
Whoa.
I used basically the same prismatic titan build as the first encounter for this, and just went transcendent and spammed consecration to clear all the ads. I ran tractor cannon as well to apply a 30% debuff to the boss. Glacial Quake, being the balanced super it is, made this boss an easy 4-phase. Why'd I say that like it was... If you get it right, you can get a 3-phase even. I love how fair and balanced this super is, and how it really lets other roaming supers shine. But then, tragedy struck. Issue 2. G-Force Shadowplay. The fucking recording stopped. The fucking recording stopped for nearly all of the jumping puzzle. The final, like me killing the first boss, Raneiks, and a bit of the final boss fight. Yes, I am still pissed. I don't have any footage of the jumping puzzle. And I'm not going back to get more footage of it. Fuck no. You just have to imagine it. The jumping puzzle went fine. It's a jumping puzzle. It went fine. I just avoided the lightning. I had 0 issues on it. The corrupted Puppeteer was easily the most difficult part of the entire dungeon. But honestly, besides DPS, it wasn't even really that hard. DPS is only hard because of the one-shot lightning that one-shots you out of a roaming super. Great mechanic, by the way. Gotta love the one-shot mechanics. Really adds meaningful challenge when it one-shots you even out of a roaming super. Gotta love it. I'm not a big fan of the DPS phase solo, if you can't tell. I think it's just kind of like, you know, it's just kind of bullshit challenge in my opinion. It's just my opinion. I can't lie though. I cheesed the shit out of it. I sat my ass down in that cheese spot and plinked away at the boss for 5 phases with my Grand Overture. I used Synthos for the main encounter and Loreley for DPS. I used Hammer to kill ads and put down sunspots while also using it to kill the clones. It just does so much damage and gives me back so much HP that it's harder to die than to not die. At least that's what it was like for me. The most annoying thing in the encounter, and to be honest, in the entire dungeon, are the fucking radiation clones. Those stupid, dumb-ass Chernobyl goblins, who, by the way, are bugged and irradiate you in a larger radius than what's actually shown. I'm sorry, but this dungeon is so fucking buggy. It's ridiculous. Like, I get they were going for the Deepstone Crypt aesthetic, but Jesus Christ, you didn't have to add all the bugs at launch, too. From the chest that only one fireteam member can pick up per run, to the radiation clones having a larger radius, to the one bug that just, like, instantly wipes you on final encounter for some reason, to the infinite damage phase bug on Raneiks, I'm surprised this thing even functions. Oh yeah, not to mention all the ball dupes. That, like, there's 3, and they patched 2 of them, and there's still 1 more! To the bug where you can go out of the map and finish the encounter, where in the puzzle, the nukes count for first encounter, to Artifice Armor not dropping when the dungeon first released. Like, what's going on here? What is going on here? Nonetheless, it just wasn't really that hard in my opinion. It took a lot less attempts than my first solo flawless of Ghost of the Deep and Warlord's Run. But, I mean, yeah, Titan is easy, so... Big surprise. Don't feel too bad if you're struggling with this. I just enjoy being an elitist every once in a while. Just let me have my fun, please. Thank you all so much for watching. And as always, go fuck yourself.